Okay, so we'll be looking at signal strength. What is signal strength? Okay, when you have an input and you transmit it over a long distance to get your output, well, the signal will probably suffer losses due to the wires, due to power losses. It will suffer current losses and voltage losses. From this point till this point, you need to know that when we speak about signal strength, we will be looking at gain and attenuation. Now, gain is when a signal is being amplified. What does it mean? From in one, you should know that if you have an input signal and it looks like this, if you amplify something, it will only get bigger. Amplify means small input, get a big output. That's amplification. Then attenuation is the opposite of amplification. If you have an input signal, it will just make that signal smaller. Your signal that you have here on your input will suffer a loss. That's attenuation, opposite of amplification. Both of these have been calculated. A, which stands for gain, is equal to output over input, output signal value over the input signal value. Okay, and this is a ratio. A ratio do not have the units that you use for this ratio would be in, well, output would be in bells. It depends on what we're going to calculate. It is in decibels. Okay, then when you are working out this attenuation or gain, this is the formula you're going to use, output over input. A negative in front of this answer will mean that it is a decrease, a negative gain we also say, or it will indicate attenuation. Understand? So a negative in front of means it's a loss in attenuation. Then if you have a system with multiple gains for each system and you have to work out the overall gain, you need to know you will only multiply this gain with this gain with this gain in order to get the overall gain. Okay, so what is the gains that you will be looking at? You will be looking at the following. You will be working out power gain, current gain, and a voltage gain. Okay, when you speak of a power gain, when you calculate it, it will be A for gain, P for power is equal to log base 10 P out over P in. This is if you work it out in bells. In the notes I will send you, you will see that we make use of decibels, more accurate. So if you work out power gain in decibels, it will be AP is equal to 10 log base 10 P out over P in. Then if you work out current gain, gain A, I for current, 20 log, I output current, input current, voltage gain, A V is 20 log, V out over V. All of these you will see output over input, output over input. Current and voltage the same, 20 log, whereas only different one will be power gain, 10 log. Okay, it won't be so straightforward. The only thing that they like to do is, if you had to have a system, they will give you, instead of giving, say I have to work out voltage gain. Now straightforward, if you look in a book, they will say my output voltage is 20 volts and my input voltage is 10 volts. Work out the voltage gain. Then it's straightforward, because it will be 20 log V out over V in, and that is straightforward. 20 log V out 20 over 10, and with your calculator you work out the answer. Okay, so they won't give it so straightforward. What they do is, only way to make it difficult is they give you a circuit and they tell you, on my input side I have a resistor of 20 ohms and the current flowing through it is 5 milliamps. calculate the output, calculate the voltage gain if my output, if V out is equal to 10 volts. So what do? You have to get V in. So in order to get V in, you sit with the resistance and you sit with current. How will I get my voltage? I use Ohm's law. V is equal to I times R, and then I get 20 times 5 milliamps. Then I get 20 times 5 is 100. 100, the 20 times 0.1. Wait, 20 times 5. 20 times 5. 20 times 5 amps, 100 volts. So V in is 100. Understand? So what they do is, what I'm telling you is, they won't give either side, the input or the output side. You would have to work it out. And how do you work it out? You will have to work it out by making use of Ohm's law. And Ohm's law, this thing V is equal to I times R, and that will be applicable for voltage gain, current gain, as well as power gain. You make use of Ohm's law, obviously for the power. Make use of all the power. How to get power? P is equal to I square R. All these formulas. P is equal to V over V times I. P is equal to V square over R. All this. So it won't be straightforward. You'll have to work it out first. You can look at the examples that they give in your textbook. You actually work stuff out. Like if you look at example 6.7, they say output 500 watt, input power 500, input voltage, output, there they say output resistance. And then they say calculate power gain in dB. Now that's straightforward. Power gain, here's the formula, output over input. Answer is in dB, say dB. P the answer, voltage gain. V voltage gain is output over input. Now do they give the output voltage? No, they give you input voltage is 10 volt. You must get the output voltage. Now you're gonna get it by making use of Ohm's law. So here they have P output, P out I square R, because they give you the output resistance. Output resistance they give you, and what else they give you? Output resistance, and you have output power, so you have P out, and you have a resistor. So P out, you have a resistor, you can get output current. Once you have the output current, 5 amps, if you work out the 5 amps, you can get output voltage, because V is equal to I times R, 5 times the 20. So here's a perfect example. I don't give it straightforward. You have to first work out by making use of Ohm's law and these normal power equations. Then C, current gain. Now again, you don't have input and output current, but you now worked out output current to be 5 amps. You need to work out input current. You sit with input power. What else you have? And input voltage. So if you have power and voltage, I is equal to P over P is equal to V times I, and I will be then equal to P over V. And then you get your input current 0.05, and then you plug it straight into the formula. Answer is in decibels. All these answers are in decibels. Okay, that's it.